Hello, my name is Jennifer Riddle, and today we are going to do a training video on how to file properly. The first thing we're going to do is we want to make sure we know our alphabet. So this may conduct of singing the alphabet song, A through Z. Hopefully everyone knows their alphabet. If not, please raise your hand so we can go through it. Hopefully no one raised their hand. If so, then we can take our time to go through this. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to get our lovely little alphabet sorter. As you can see, it goes from A to Z. This is how we are going to take all these papers that we have right here, and we're going to sort them through our alphabet sorter, which is this. Now the next thing we need to know though is when we are sorting our papers by last name, we want to make sure that we do it still in alphabetical order. So, say the last name starts with Amber, and then the other last name happens to be Ashworth. Well, we're going to make sure we put Amber first and then Ashworth. That way it's still in alphabetical order, so when we're filing in the filing cabinet, we can find the correct file first and put the correct information in there. If not, we could get confused and lose the information and misfile, which does happen a lot. The next thing we need to make sure is when you're filing, you make sure you're looking at the right last name. Sometimes some documents will actually have Ashworth, Ellis. Sometimes they'll have Ellis Ashworth. So you need to pay close attention to your documents. But I know sometimes that students have a little bit of trouble of paying attention. Let's see why they might have trouble. Oh look, we have music going in our background. Yes, music can be distracting sometimes. Oh, and let's pull up our Facebook and let's look where we're trying to work. Oh, that's what's going on. Hold on, let me try to mess with this paperwork too though, as I pay attention. Not the best thing to do. You can't be trying to do more than one thing when you're filing documents that are needed. Probably our biggest problem we have with student workers is that the loss of paperwork, and not really losing it, but they misfile a document into someone else's file. This can cause problems when we're needing a transcript or a student comes in and we're trying to find their paperwork. One, so we know what to enroll students in classes. After we've taken the time to actually alphabetize everything into the correct order, then our next step is to actually take those documents as such, these have already been alphabetized, and to actually input them into the right folder. Now what we would do is we would go over to our filing cabinet, and we're not really going to actually file this stuff because it's all students that we don't have files for yet, but we go through, and as you can kind of see, we have these all alphabetized. Last name starts and it's all alphabetized. So if it's AB, you do AB. If it's AS, that's going to be more at the back. After all that is alphabetized, you want to double check yourself. Don't just do it and make sure you're good to go. Make sure when you put a document into a file to pull that file actually out and to look through that file. See exactly what's in there. Make sure everything matches. If it does not match, pull that missing or that incomplete paperwork that's not right out and put it with the right file. If you can't find it, then put it aside. We do have a missing file or missing file paperwork where we keep all that stuff. So after you do that and you get everything, such as all this paperwork, filed in the correct folders, every so often we will go through and actually make sure that things are in there. We move files every semester. Files are being moved from one filing cabinet, such as this, to a different filing cabinet. So when we pull files, we're going to go through anyways to double check, make sure we have the documents there that we say we have that's in our computer system, such as this. This is our computer system. Everything that it says that we have, we are going to make sure is in that file. As you can see, this is my information. I say I have that stuff. If I went and pulled my file, that information would be in there. The reason that we stress on having paperwork filed correctly is one, when we do our file transfer, everything goes into our registrar's office. What they do is they look through those files and they check to see where the student has attended high school at, or if they're a transfer student. Those are the two things they're looking at, unless they are a non-degree seeking student, and then they're looking for their photo ID. So once we can make those determinations, our registrar's office, they go through, and for transfer students, they input all that information onto their RSU transcript. So if we send a file back there without the right documentation, it's going to cause a lot of problems. One, we're going to get emailed stating that we have sent the wrong paperwork. And then we're all going to be trying to find that paperwork to figure out what happened to it, find out who checked it, and to see exactly who filed it. Now, as an employee here at the college, a lot of filing is not done by us in our department. Instead, we have student workers. So our student workers are the ones who go through and file everything. So after we process and double check everything, sometimes triple check, then we have bins that we put everything into. As you can kind of see, this is what a bin looks like. And we have different slots where all of our files go in. The student workers will then go to those slots and actually take out the documents. If they need a label and a new file made, what we do is they have a label maker, they make all the labels, and they get new files such as these. They'll put the new name with student ID here at the top. Last name goes first, and then their first name. And it's going to be alphabetized. So if it's Smith Jane, this will go in the S. It will make sure it goes in with the Smiths because there's several Smiths, and depending on the other names, the first names, it will be alphabetized behind I but before K. So that's one reason we stress knowing the alphabet. As you can also see, I have in my drawer several different files. I have to keep several students in my drawer. These I keep alphabetized for myself, even though no one else is getting in them. It makes it easier for me when someone calls. I can pull their file because I know exactly where it is. And two, when I'm moving this file to one of the other cabinets or to someone else's office, then I know exactly where to go. I know, okay, I keep this file here. This is where it should be. Boom, there it is. It's easy. So the point of this video is to kind of stress to you how important it is to file properly. Not to become distracted with talking to other coworkers or talking to people in the office, but to pay attention to what you're doing. You also want to make sure that you're not sitting there listening to the music the whole time, because as you can see, that can be really distracting and you might not pay attention. You also want to make sure that you pay attention to the name, the spelling of names. Sometimes people will spell their name differently. So you have to pay attention to whatever the document says to what the file says. We want to make sure we have that done properly. This way it will cause a lot less headaches in the long run. And there will also be people who have the exact same name with the middle initial that will be different. So when filing, pay close attention to the alphabet. Even if you have to sit there and sing the alphabet song to yourself, just paying close attention. And another reason we use our sorter, such as this one, is to help us. We want to make sure we get everything, all the A's together and all the B's together and so forth, so that all those are together. If we can at least do that much, then that will help when filing everything else. If you have any questions or unsure of how to exactly file something properly, please contact me. I would love to go through and sit with you to show you exactly the proper way to file and kind of show you how distractions can cause misfiling to take place. Thank you.